YTPC, Board Smoking Pipes here. Today's episode of 1989 is brought to you by Morgan Bones, when a short poker is all that'll do. Also brought to you by Haunted Bookshop, when your stories need just a little more spice. Well, we pretty much got the layout of the land where the scenes take place. I was thinking yesterday that on the backside of that park there was a couple more buildings up there, but I just couldn't place them. And that little area right after town, between the bridges and the edge of town, doubled for a concert venue. They'd set up a stage out there and pull in bands and stuff. One of the events that happened that year was I got to run the sale cart whenever they brought in the concert. And we had BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive, out there for our summer concert. And there was another band there. I don't really remember them. They were kind of well known at the time, but BTO was, pretty hard hitting. We all enjoyed that. I was there, Killer was there, it all hands on deck for that one. We put the newbies were down in the pit, as we called it, down in the game area, down in the little shacks doing business. The older hands were up by the concert, because we were more open to talking to people. So, we were selling balloons, snow cones, popcorn, all of it. It was almost like being trained to be a carny, except for we didn't travel. It was fun, without all the extra headaches that come with traveling around, putting stuff up, taking it down all the time. That was one heck of a concert that year. I remember they even had the pretzel cart out for a little while. Back up in, let's just go back to the front of the park. Now, I told you I worked down at the information booth just as you come in. And Killer, you remember him from the fishing story, my buddy from second grade. He worked down in the ring toss and the game area down there with the darts and all that, and they'd rotate them up and down through there. So any given day he'd be in a different booth. But now we had another buddy there, old Rombo. We all worked there together. Rombo was way off in the back sometimes, and sometimes they'd move him up. It seems like he never could get quite hooked up with us. They'd always put him at a distance. Poor fella. But anyway, man, we got to know, we was there, and we got to help him with the trash. And there's this old boy there called Gunther. Now, Gunther, he was a hoot, man. He was an old codger, and he drove a trash truck, which sometimes was a dump truck, sometimes was an old 3/4 ton Ford van with 3-speed on the column. By golly, if you've never driven a 3-speed on the column, that is something to endure. After you got the hang of it, it's like anything else, but man, that shifting was a whole lot different. I grew up actually on the stick shift, so the columns were still around and we were still driving them, but they weren't quite as standard on the column, wasn't prevalent back then. But anyway, old Gunther, he was, like I said, he's quite the character. He called me and Killer the Gold Dust Twins. Now, he'd go, Gold Dust Twins, like a TV show that I'd probably never seen. He says, well, you seen one, just wait a minute, you're going to see the other. Because we was always hanging out. I started going up there when I started back in '88. I was actually riding a motorcycle up there. But after I got my truck and stuff, me and Killer started riding together, and of course it's a summertime job only. I come flying in and down his dirt road, get up to his house, because it seemed like we were always just about a half a minute late, you know, how teenagers are. And one day he goes, his dad goes, I can always tell it's when you're coming forward. He says, I hear a big roar, a cloud of dust, and I see that 6-foot steel whip pinned back on your truck, leaning back. What that steel whip was is we carried citizen band radios back then. Didn't know what a cell phone was. Seen a bag phone once on TV. The guy looked pretty funny talking on a phone in his car. Man, if we could have guessed what it'd be like today. But no, we carried CBs in our trucks, a lot of us. My dad had a base station at the house, and that way, whenever I was out and about in the evenings, if I got in a bind, I could get on the radio and either get a hold of him if he was on the radio at the time, or one of his friends, because they all talked on like channel 15, right? And even if he wasn't on there, they knew who I was by the sound of my voice. That one of them would answer back and ask if I was in trouble or needed help, and they get on the landline, which is a house phone for you younger folks, and call Dad at the house and let him know that where I was and what was going on and what I needed, or if or if I was okay and he just needed to know. It was interesting, but that whip would stick up above the tree line, and Killer's dad would see it. He would know who was barreling down that dirt road. Oh, we had a heck of a time. We learned all the dirt roads between Killer's house and that amusement park. Anyway, he worked down in the game area, and we'd take our breaks, and sometimes he'd come up, or he'd bring something up, drink to me if he's on break when I wasn't, or if I was on break when he wasn't, I'd bring something back to him and just kind of shoot the breeze, you know. If I was down at his station on my break, I'd talk to the people and help him, and he'd do the same if he's up there with me. We were quite the pair. And it's like, you gotta know Killer now. In school, he's quite easily one of the smartest kids in the school. I don't ever remember him not making an A. Me, well, I was a positive B. Solid B. Anywhere from B plus to B minus, few C's, and every once in a while, if I didn't like the teacher, a couple of other grades that fell below that. So, needless to say, we were quite the pair. I was flamboyant, and he was the intelligence side of the committee, let's say. But anyway, we had a lot of fun. There's another character in this story that resides in that ice cream shop. I think I'm going to hold back introducing that one until tomorrow. Friends, thanks for joining. Have a great day and be safe. 04 signing out.